game pretty soon as well. So this is going to be a pretty exciting one because there's definitely some decks that I would not have expected to see round one. Okay, maybe round one I can accept
it's
it.
Round one. Anything can happen.
It's round one.
Yeah.
True. But even then, definitely a little bit of a surprise. We're going to get in here. This is going to be Gary versus Afik. So these two players, as you might be able to tell by the little like follicles of hair by the sleeves, we're going to be watching Great Nature versus Tachikaze for round one.
Ooh, okay. Let's put it this way. Legion is still a thing, right?
True.
Although strides are pretty good, you know, if games go long, Legion, it kind of carries you, right? And
it's what keeps you in the game.
Yeah, Great Nature Legion is definitely one of the better ones out there, right?
Yeah.
But also, I mean, do you see the Tachikaze, right?
Yeah.
Tachikaze.
Absolutely. You know, it's a touchy list that I think we we were pleasantly surprised by before, and I'll be pleasantly surprised by it again, right?
Yes. I have to say I'm kind of excited. Tachi is one of those decks where it does so many things. You're just wondering what's happening, and I'm wondering if Afik knows what's gonna be happening.
Yeah, like you brought it up earlier, right? It's like people don't playtest against some of these like off-meta picks, and I'm sure Afik was probably hoping nobody would be testing against his Great Nature, but has he tested against Tachikaze? You know, that's also part of it too. And of course, for those of you that want the deck list of these players, you can actually find them in the Twitch chat. So that's another great thing of the Winter Circuit, is that you can actually have a look at some of the great players.
Yeah, some of the good decks. Well, you get to see what's coming out, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Just posting the deck chat, all right? I'm not sure on the command yet, but I think it'll be posted. I think it'll be similar to the BRO thing, right?
Yeah.
We can try it, right? We can try it.
But yeah, so it's a good time. And on top of that, watching this right now, I'm gonna be completely honest. There's been such an absence of Tachikaze in my latter experience that this was the first time I saw the heal guard for Tachikaze, like genuinely.
Yes, just in time. And we see Afik's field is already pretty good. Getting a heal trigger as well.
Whiffing it though.
But it's okay. With Legion you can put it all back. And it'll be interesting to see if he actually hits this attack. Oh no, it does. There we go.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna choose to use the ability here, and then of course the Great 2 is gonna call itself back. It's a draw on top of that. Gonna just commit the power to the Vanguard here. So confirming a couple damage. The heal comes out. That's already 3 heals out for Afik. It's both a blessing and a curse, right? Sometimes you want to see those heal guards in hand, because that's also information for Gary, knowing that, when he tries to go for the kill, there are 3 less cards that can possibly stop him winning the game there. Ooh, it's Leopold build, alright.
Reverse. Okay. I think it'll be interesting to see if he wants to step over the heal trigger at some point and just put it back. Just you want to maximize the ways you can heal, right? So.
That's true. I do wonder if Afik even runs the Legions, because the Leopold build is the strongest one, because of course the 5-selection stride is Leopold support, but we're gonna have to see. And this draw is actually pretty nice, so we do get the hit on the Vanguard now, and on top of that, depending on what the second check is, okay, it's not a trigger, could have still developed more, but 2 damage confirmed is already a good move, although putting Ancient Dragons at Limit Break could be a little bit dangerous.
Scary.
Oh,
yes.
Wow. He's actually using the on-hit here, so he can use the on-hit, and then Leopold gives another +4k, so this actually hits, so he's pushing Gary to 5.
Wow.
Super aggressive start.
This is what I'm talking about, right? It's just push to 5, and then suddenly it's time for the big multis. And I'm checking Afik's deck list here. We have he is running the Legion. He's running 4 of the Tiger Legion. I want to say. I'm not exactly sure if it is a tiger, but it looks kind of like a
Yeah.
It's definitely not a leopard because that's what Leopold is, right?
That's right. Ooh, he overdrew the PG. You hate to see
ouch, ouch, ouch. But I want to see if Tachi goes for a stride here. What do you think? If he's
I
on
feel
limit
like
break,
I think you still go for it because you get to at least cycle a card. Like I'm assuming you want to cycle into because like now he milled 1 PG, he had 1 in damage. I'm a little bit concerned for the defenses of our friend Gary over here and whether he actually has.
Gary does
the
have a
weight
lot
to
of
survive.
hands, right? But can he guard all the at least one good thing about when you fight against Great Nature is that Great Nature really doesn't have any ways to get rid of your intercepts. So as long as he can put up right there, he can just kind of say, okay, do I have 3 defensives in my hands? If so, don't have to go for a kill turn. I can go for a strike turn. The strike might let me trigger a heal as well and just kind of bring me down and at least hit my opponent to 5 damage, right? And then you set up for the kill turn next. Because I think going for the kill turn right now is a bit of a stretch. Then just eating, getting some power. But I think it's really going to come down to the drive checks right now. And calling back out the grade 2, so to keep the intercepts up, because that's what Tachikaze does.
Gets the draw. I wonder if there was a line of play where he could have attacked with the other grade 1 to pop the Iguanagorg and then recalled that, and then one attack with the Vanguard, he would have popped the Intercept Ancient Dragon that would have recalled that, so he would have had a fresh column. But I guess he would have had to see like basically 3 triggers to actually hit with that column, so maybe it's a CB that he saved, and now healing down to 4 definitely gives him the breathing room.
Yeah.
Like, the one thing is that Leopold will basically always attack 4 times. Like, the stride gives you a 4th attack, and, you know, the grade 3, the grade 3s all give you a 4th attack, although many of them being on hit, of course. But we're going to have to see here. The deck counts are still pretty healthy for both players, too.
Gary, I think, is looking pretty good right now. That heal is really, really big. I think he's just looking very, very safe. He can set up a kill turn next turn. So I think it's up to Afik and how he wants to push, but also how much cards he wants to draw as well. Because like, will the draws help? It'll get him more perfect cards, but at the same time, you know, the 3 heals have been revealed. So how much also does he want to pump as well? Because if he does, I think he's just losing like an intercept, right? So
that's true. That's true.
Like,
all right.
Okay, he's just very simple attacks right now.
This will get him a 4th attack. You know, the Leopold Chaser does have the on-attack stand skill. It will, and I believe it does recall the thing that it restands at the end as well. So it technically can preserve the intercept, I believe. But let's take a look here. Gonna attack with Leopold Chaser.
Yeah.
And the effect. And there you go. It's gonna retire at the end of the turn and then recall right back. And the nice thing with the binoculars is that also it can rebuff after that the booster. So in case he sees a defensive here, he can still kind of try to salvage the numbers, even if it means losing the grade 1 there.
I mean, would it have been better to call the tiger in front of the heal trigger? Because I think the numbers hit similar, but you can get rid of the heal, and then in a Legion turn follow-up, you can kind of just Legion back the heal without kind of playing over it.
That's true. That's true. I mean, we'll see. He might not be aiming for Legion just yet. I mean, he's got 17 cards in deck. I feel like for the time being, like, just getting consistent 4 attacks with Leopold Chaser is the way that you're gonna try to chip away at Gary's defenses. But at this point, you know, I feel like Gary, while he got pushed to 5, right now, his next turn is going to be nasty. Like, he can basically reset an entire column, potentially even more than that. So while being able to trade into the intercepts here, and also being able to remake his own board for all the multi-attacks. So don't underestimate Tachi's, right?
Yeah, and I think right now, like, I've discussed this before in like previous tournaments, right? It's important, like, when you're expecting the amount of defenses that an opponent has, it's usually around 2 perfect guards or so, just depending on how long the game has been. But now with the addition of heals, there's slightly more defense available to you. So we were looking like 2 perfect guards and a heal or 2 heals. Now the question is, can he punch? Can Gary punch through that? Right.
That's true.
Yeah, getting power as well is actually incredibly relevant, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. Because getting over the heal guards is really important, and that a lot of strategies now are built around hitting over, like the heals, just so they're forced to use multiple heals in one, or forced to like use perfect guards. Things like the Messiah plays are all based around that. So now, how many guards does Afik has? Is the question. Does he have 3?
We're gonna have to see. All PG comes out. That means. Yeah, well, I mean, we know there was only 1 heal left, and that was in the hand, and that's lethal. He's going in already for the lethal point. I think there's no heals left in deck, so that's going to be game for Gary. He's going to take it just like that with Tachikaze over Afik's great nature.
I have to say, right, it looked a bit scary for Gary there, but, you know, Gary brought it home. Right, he got that. He was able to do like 2 very strong turns. One to set up like to stay safe. Second one just going for that kill. He recognized that, you know, Afik, he had some pretty nice triggers in the early game, but at the same time, you know, those important heals were gone. So defensively, Afik wasn't that great, and you know, in terms of heals, they're out. Right, no 6 damage heal to worry about. Chris, what do you think?
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, the thing was that we saw those like early heals come down on Afik's side, and it was kind of like we immediately talked about it, right? It was like, okay, cool, you got to, you know, it didn't hurt as bad early game, but at the same time, as a result, you know, you couldn't. Again, like we saw, only 1 heal guard potentially in hand. He didn't have the PGs to block the last of the attacks. And I mean, for a second I was a little bit worried because the first swing from the Vanguard was 21, so it's kind of like, if he committed the booster there, it would have been 26. That would have already asked for PGs. But then, you know, to kind of like assume that all he has are PGs, but in the end, it didn't really matter. You know, he had more than enough attacks to end it, and it really goes to show that like Tachi in particular can like recycle the resources in such a nice and elegant way that, you know, it's kind of funny because both decks kind of do that, right? Great Nature is also all about like recycling your resources and like recycling the, you know, all the cards on your field, but that was really impressive. Like a cool way to start, really cool decks as well, I gotta say. You know, I think a lot of people were really happy with Leopold Chaser in particular because it keeps Great Nature in the competitive sphere at the same time. And so I hope that, you know, things go well for the rest of his run because, of course, just 1 loss does not mean you're out. You can keep playing throughout the Swiss round.